Good morning. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Is that good to go up there? Awesome. We are live streaming this, so I appreciate the folks who came out early on a cloudy morning in Cleveland. Cleveland is not at its best. October is normally beautiful here. So for those of you from California and Maryland and places distance, we do apologize for the weather, but it is, like I said, normally it's a spectacular autumn kind of day, and that's what we were hoping for, but the weather gods had other options. So welcome to the Twice Exceptional Teacher Education International Hybrid Conference. There are a good number of y'all here, and there's even more of you online. We have well over this number plus half again online. So we're very excited that everyone is here. We are live streaming this right now. So this introductions and the keynote will be recorded, but the sessions that will also be on live and will be hybrid in the different rooms will not be. So you are here to chat and to have a conversation. And that's going to be the theme for the day. It is a small conference, but an intense conference. And we are so excited that we have a chance and an opportunity to meet with and have a conversation with those folks who are equally passionate and excited about Twice Exceptional Education. And thinking about these kids whose needs are so diverse, whose talents are so wide, and whose needs go unmissed all the time. So we are very, very glad that everyone is here. So let's get started. I'm Dr. Claire Hughes. I'm a professor of gifted education, special education, and twice exceptional education, which is a really long title on my business card. And I'm the coordinator of the gifted program and the new twice exceptional program that is starting in January. So we are very excited about our twice exceptional graduate certificate program. We are very excited about the electives that one can take in our doctoral program. We are very excited about the opportunity for our master's program in special education and gifted education that connects those two of them. And so Cleveland State has is incredibly supportive of twice exceptional education. You're going to hear a little bit about that tomorrow when Dr. Brian Harper talks a little bit about that process of how we came to be. So I'm going to leave you for that story tomorrow. But we are the first twice exceptional teacher education program in the country. So Bridges Academy has been, yay, and we have some representation here, has graduate programs in neurodiversity and psychology and a variety of doc programs, which are fabulous programs. And so we're delighted to sort of add to the panoply of graduate offerings. There are a number of schools online right now who are coming to us who are focusing on twice exceptional children, both private and public. And so some of those folks will be here to talk about their experiences, and we are very excited and thrilled to have them as well, so in our partnership of collaborators as we put this on. The other aspect about Cleveland State that's been very exciting is the degree of support that has been found here. So I wanted to, with no further ado, do some introductions and some welcomes. So my bosses are, I have two bosses because, of course, I'm twice exceptional. And I live between teacher education and the Department of Educational Studies, Research, and Technology. How'd I do? Okay, we just changed our name. And so we live between those, and what's wonderful has been the collaboration between the two departments, the connection between the two departments, and the degree of support between those two departments. So I wanted to introduce Dr. Ann Galetta, who is Chair of Educational Research, I just messed it up, Educational Studies, Research, and Technology. Thank you. And then Dr. Marius Bobach, who is Chair of Teacher Education. But I have a present for you. Oh, because you are not an official program until you have a cup. So you have a mug.
All right. Cheers.
It's for the coffee that is sent.
Where are we from? Can we shout it out? Miami. California. Kentucky. Maryland. I know Sarah's from Maryland. Sorry? Minnesota. Georgia, Denmark, woohoo! All right, and I know Lakewood, and I know Cleveland probably, so wonderful. Great to see you there.
I think it's important to make the note that there were a lot of folks who said, oh my gosh, we would love to come, only we can't find subs. So this would have been filled twice over if we weren't in the middle of a teacher crisis. Yeah. And so I did want to acknowledge that so much of our work is driven by the crisis of staffing in education. So for those of you who did come, we are so deeply grateful. And I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. So I just want to recognize Dr. Claire Hughes for her amazing scholarship, practitioner pedagogy, and advocacy. It is, you know that game, Where's Waldo? It's kind of like, where's Claire Hughes today? Because she's all over the globe. And we are thrilled to have you a part of this amazing program, and we're so thrilled that you all are here. I just wish you a great 2 days, knowledge generation, network building, and infusing social justice and racial equity within all of that as we think about twice exceptionality. So welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I'll say when you're at dinner tonight, I'll have some wine in this tonight, and I'll be thinking of you. So I'm Marius Bobak, Chair of Teacher Ed, and it's my pleasure to reiterate what Dr. Hughes said and Dr. Galetta in terms of welcoming you to Cleveland. The weather should be getting better. It's not as cold, so we'll take that as a good day. And also I want to emphasize our support and commitment to twice exceptional education, demonstrated by the fact that we were able to spend time together today and tomorrow. And it's critically important, given the current state of education in this country in particular, to come together, to think about what we've done, what are some accomplishments, what are some unresolved issues that we face and we have to deal with. And thinking of students who are gifted and also have learning differences, how we can best support them in a way that allows us to advance as a society and as a species. So thank you all, and I hope I know you'll have a great time. And I'd like to introduce our Dean, Dr. Roland Anglin.
Well, good morning. Thank you so much for being here and welcome. This is a very important conference for us, and we want to thank Dr. Claire Hughes and her colleagues for planning and executing this important event. This conference is a celebration of diversity, also an exploration of the untapped potential that will help make a brighter future for those remarkable individuals we call 2E. I am thrilled that we are growing this expertise in our college, and together we can redefine what it means to be gifted and exceptional and pave the way for a brighter future for these important learners. So I say to you, welcome and have a great time for the next 2 days.
Dr. Anglin is the Dean of Public Affairs and Education, so he is also very well aware of integrating and connecting diverse aspects and fields. So thank you very much, Dr. Anglin. Next, I'd like to introduce Maria Lohr, who is from the Ohio Department of Education.
Hi, I'm Maria Lohr, Assistant Director for Gifted in the Office of Learning and Instructional Strategies at the State Department. On behalf of the Superintendent of Public Instruction, Dr. Chris Woolard, the Director of the Office of Learning and Instructional Strategies, Sherry Burcham, and myself, I want to extend each of you our warmest welcome to Ohio and the Twice Exceptional Teacher Education Conference here at Cleveland State University. I'm so excited to see so many parents, educators, and school leaders with us today, both here in person and also joining us online. Your presence shows the passion that each of you holds for recognizing and supporting our twice exceptional learners, which is work that is truly near and dear to my heart. Today, you'll have the opportunity to learn how we can better address and aid twice exceptional learners to overcome obstacles to learning. In addition, you will also have the opportunity to learn how we can accelerate their learning by providing more and more effective opportunities to learn, which ultimately will prepare these students for future success, all of which are strategic priorities found in Future Forward Ohio. My hope for you today is that you take the time to learn from your colleagues and grow your knowledge base so that we can all continue to strengthen instruction and supports for twice exceptional learners so that all students are able to have enriching and engaging instruction and access to advanced learning opportunities. Thank you for giving me these moments to welcome you, and I hope each of you has a wonderful conference experience. Thank you.
So next we have a wonderfully special guest who unfortunately couldn't be here live, and she has an incredibly busy schedule, and she lives in DC, Glenna Wright-Gallo, who is herself twice exceptional. And so I'm going to let her sort of welcome us and tell us her story.
Hi, I'm Glenna Gallo, the Assistant Secretary for the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, or OSERS, at the U.S. Department of Education. I want to start off by thanking you for being here. The connections and conversations that you will make today will positively impact students across the country. At OSERS, we are focused on raising expectations and improving outcomes for individuals with disabilities. We know that no child should have to choose between services that promote their strengths and those that support their learning. When I was in 11th grade, I was in Honors English, and I had to choose between the program for advanced learners and services for my hearing impairment. And while it has been a while since I was in high school, I continue to hear similar stories. We must do better. That is why I am so excited to learn that Cleveland State University has started a twice exceptional teacher education graduate program, and that they, along with the Council for Exceptional Children's Association for the Gifted Division, are hosting this conference to bring attention to these unique and diverse learners. I hope that this is the first of many conferences held to enhance schools' ability to identify and support all of our students, especially those with diverse needs from diverse backgrounds. Every student deserves our raised expectations as they go through their education to pursue whatever journey they would like, and should have more pathways to college and career, not less, as a result of needed special education and related services. I hope that you enjoy networking, learning, and sharing ideas and strategies that can help our students who have such tremendous potential, but need additional support to demonstrate their talents. On behalf of twice exceptional children and their families and teachers everywhere, I thank you for coming.
Wendy Behrens, you want to come up?
Good morning, all. I'm so delighted to see you today. I'm here on behalf of the Association for Gifted, and also because I am a person who is extremely interested in twice exceptionality. So I'm here to learn with you and from you. I want to welcome you on behalf of TAG. We are a division of the Council for Exceptional Children. And we know that there are a lot of children who would benefit from additional support. And yet we also know there are a lot of adults who really need to enhance their skill set so that they have the capability of not only recognizing but responding to the needs of gifted learners as well as every single learner within their classroom. We know it's possible to be gifted and have special education needs, and as we've just heard, those students can go to very, very high places. So thank you so very much for being here today. It's a delight to see you, and it's also a real honor for the Association for Gifted and Talented to have the opportunity to associate itself with the Cleveland State University program. It is not only an honor, but it's a privilege to be able to work with Claire. So thank you, Claire.
And I did want to emphasize that this conference was organized by both Cleveland State and TAG. So we were very excited to partner together. However, I do have to say that this was not done alone by me or by Wendy or by any particular group, but I did want to thank the folks who really helped put this together, who got your food, who helped with the organization, who I think are still scrambling to get the rooms in place. So those conversations. So Tatiana Nicotina, are you here or is she roaming around? There she is. Come on down. She's at the very top of the stairs, sort of monitoring everything. So Tatiana is a doc student here and has been absolutely integral to this part. And in fact, I'm looking straight at her, it was her idea. So when we were putting the program together back last fall, she's my doc student, and she said, "Wow, this is such a great program." I'm like, "I know, isn't it awesome?" And we're thinking ideas, and she goes, "We need to tell people about Twice Exceptional." I said, "Yes, I know." And she said, "We could hold a conference." And I said, "Okay, sure." And so she has been the backbone of collaborating with Catering Services, the woman who disappeared 6 weeks ago and we didn't know. So your food is because Tatiana ran around yesterday and really worked with lots of folks. So that kind of effort of a conference was held a lot by Tatiana, but it was also held by, and I wrote folks down, the TAG board, the Association for Gifted board, who did flyers, particularly Michelle Buchanan, who did amazing artwork. Y'all, speakers, participants, volunteers, people who came, people who were interested enough in Twice Exceptional Kids on a cloudy Friday to come all the way here or to come online for those of you who are online. You've heard from the chairs, but I also want to thank the members of the search committee, Jong-hee, Brian, and Lena, who were very instrumental in thinking about what Cleveland State wanted for this program. We have the two Sharons, Sharon Jefferson and Sharon Bliss, who helped with the PR, who helped with the put it together, who helped with a lot of the pieces. Bob, who's up in the control booth up there, and Steve, who manages this whole building and is phenomenal. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my own family, who allow me to travel, who have encouraged me to do this, who, when I said, "I kind of want to go to Cleveland from Georgia," and they said, "Good, that sounds good," and have been incredibly supportive. And last but not least, my own children, who are Twice Exceptional, and you've heard some of their stories. This whole conference, though, started with Morgan in the early 90s, who was a kid I worked with, and we all have that kid. That one kid that we went, "Wait, you're really different, and you're really talented, but there's some roadblocks in the way. What can we do?" That vision, that question I had ever since Morgan has been driving me and has been driving you and has been driving all of us to help kids, whether we work as a parent, in classrooms, as professors, whatever our direct connection is. I'm so glad you're here for your Morgan. So thank you very much. I look forward to an incredible and exciting program. Next up, we have the incredible Dr. Wendy Murawski. Now, Wendy has 45-page vita? 173-page vita. She's written 20 books, 18 books. She writes nonstop. She travels nonstop. People say, "Oh, you travel a lot," to me, and I go, "You don't know my friend Wendy." She has published and presented around the world, literally published in Swedish, in Danish and German and French. Talked around the world. She is world-renowned in the area of collaborative and co-teaching. She is also somebody who understands connection and communication and integration of different fields. She was a natural person for our very first keynote speaker. She's the Eisner Endowed Chair of Teaching and Learning at California State University Northridge, which is also a CSU Northridge. We're CSU Ohio. And and has started that program and such. Most importantly, she's a really good friend of mine. One of my bestest friends, actually. And she is staying in my apartment on the floor. That is what a good friend she is. That is a good friend. So when you see her, give her a massage. And she is going to talk to us about this collaboration and communication aspect. And just be Wendy.
So good morning. Good morning, good morning. And as Dr. Hughes was mentioning, we are very good friends, and we have been doing quite the circuit of different places. So we started doing some conferences in California, went to Maine, went to Virginia. So at least when she asked me to be here this morning and it was 8, I was still on Virginia time. So that's okay. 8 o'clock Virginia time is fine to come here. It's when I come to a place like this and they want me to be here at 8, when it's 5 a.m. California time, I don't like it so much. So this is no problem at all. As Claire mentioned, my name is Wendy Murawski. I'm the Eisner Endowed Chair for the Center for Teaching and Learning at a different CSU. And a few years ago, it's probably been at least, well, it was pre-pandemic. Everything is now pre-pandemic or post-pandemic. It's definitely pre-pandemic, and I actually came to CSU and was doing a keynote for faculty in the School of Education who wanted to co-teach and collaborate. And so they gave me some lovely CSU stuff, wrong colors for me, but still it was really nice. All right, so I've entitled this Embracing Inclusive Practices for Our Twice Exceptional Students, and I'm going to focus on some things we can do for personalization as well as for collaboration. If you're here, you know this, but I'm going to read it to us anyway. Twice exceptional students experience a world between the nuances of giftedness and the unique variations of learning differences, disabilities, or neurodiversities. They are likely to be under-identified and are often misunderstood. Quote, the internet. Random quote I found, it looked lovely. Today, you're going to be at a conference for today and tomorrow. Dr. Hughes and that incredible team has put together a bunch of different ways for you to learn more about students who are twice exceptional and their families. But I'm right now just going to talk about the adults who work with them, because I truly believe we need to do a better job. And I think we have the ability, we have the resources, we have the skills to do it, but we don't necessarily have them all by ourselves. So the idea that we can work with one another and take everything we know from special education evidence-based practices, everything we know about gifted ed resources, skills, all of those things, and then also from our general education counterparts and then the other special service providers. We have so much, but we're so siloed. And I think that's one of the reasons these twice exceptional learners are that population that we're like, we don't know what to do. It's because we only have a part of the puzzle. So hopefully we will play nicely and we'll be able to meet their needs. So first want to say, all right, so why are we here? Like, why are we doing in education? What would educational research tell us we're supposed to be doing with our students, all students? What are 21st century skills? You guys yell them out for me. I heard technology. I heard communication. I heard collaboration. I heard inquiry-based learning. I heard critical thinking. Creativity. These sound good? Resiliency. All right, so I'm pretty sure it's not this. I'm also pretty sure it's not this. And I'm absolutely sure it's not this. But for our twice exceptional learners, it can be a lot of these things. And we want to avoid that. So if we look at the 21st century skills, and you all did a very nice job, it's almost like you're gifted yourselves. What it says we're supposed to be doing is making sure every single student, and I'm talking about our neurotypical, I'm talking about like every kid, every single student should be able to have clear and effective communication. Can a child who is nonverbal have clear and effective communication? Really loud answer. Yeah. Okay, good. And some of these, I just want you to validate me, and that's good. Can a child who struggles with executive functioning skills have self-direction? What about a student with an intellectual disability who that person be creative and have practical problem-solving skills? You guys are getting the right answers. Very, very good. All right, so I won't go through the other two, but obviously all of our students, regardless of their abilities or disabilities, can have responsible and involved citizenship and informed and integrative thinking. It just looks different. And I know in the next 2 days you're going to get so many ideas of how we can do that. But I want us to think about where our kids are going from here, right? It's lovely. They're in our pre-K-12 schools, many programs for college, career readiness. So let's just look at our, say, Fortune 500 companies. What's a Fortune 500 company for my friend in Denmark? What's a Fortune 500 company? Lego. We speak your language, Lego. It's the companies that make a whole lot of money, right? These are the ones that we're like, okay, these are big companies. So what do these companies want our students to do? The stuff that you all said? Creativity, problem solving, all that kind of stuff? Well, if we look at our K-12 schools, I think it's kind of clear what they want. Everywhere in the United States. Clearly, these Fortune 500 companies are looking for students who have 4 years of English, at least 3 years of math, 2 to 3 years of science. They want them to have at least 1 to 2 years of PE. Is this true? Where's that reading, writing, arithmetic? I mean, this is what we emphasize in schools. We emphasize that you take these classes and that you pass them. Because that 5-paragraph essay is going to serve you well. Or not. So if we emphasize in schools over and over and over again, reading, writing, arithmetic, we got to get them the reading, the writing, and arithmetic. Let's look at what the Fortune 500 companies say they want. Teamwork, problem solving, interpersonal skills, oral communication, and listening. I don't see reading, writing, arithmetic, do you? Do you see anything that would hold a student back who might be struggling with reading, writing, arithmetic, even if they're gifted? All right, what about, personal career development, creative thinking, leadership, goal setting, and motivation. Still no reading, writing, arithmetic. There we go. Number 10 is writing. And every Fortune 500 company is looking for that 5-paragraph essay. No, Maggie, no. Agreed. What are they looking for in writing? So maybe some technical writing. What else? Something clear and concise, which means every one of my graduate students needs to learn to write an email. Please. Please. And to my sister, who may not be watching this live stream, text isn't long. All right, what else for writing? We got some technical assistance. We want something clear and concise. What other kind of writing might a company be looking for? Product description. Policies. Marketing. Okay, so that kid who's really strong at social media and knows how to tweet or X or whatever it is, I don't know anymore, but that's a skill. That's an absolute skill. So we can take these as strengths and use them to leverage any areas of need, every areas of weakness. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. So we got organizational effectiveness is number 11. Finally, we got some arithmetic in there, and reading doesn't happen until 13. I think all of our typical teachers need to know this. I think they need to get this list so we can get off of they must do it in exactly the same way, because that's holding us back. All right, so keeping in mind these Fortune 500 companies, let's just look at the top 5. Teamwork, problem solving, interpersonal skills, oral communication, and listening. Back in the day, which one of these did we used to focus on? Say loud. Listening, right? And thank goodness nowadays we have technology, smart boards, all that kind of fun stuff, so it's completely different. Not really, right? Not really. It's the same thing. And in college, same thing. We need to mix it up. All right, so I would say then we're going to look at this personalization and collaboration of how we are going to try and include all of our learners. When I'm talking about inclusion, I am talking about a philosophy. There is nothing that is going to be step, 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 if you do this, we are including kids. It's a belief that all students have the right to be together in the same classroom. But I think the key that I really like up there is that it says with appropriate adaptations or assistance. And that's where we struggle. If I could have a whole school of teachers, administrators, counselors, special service providers, and everyone truly had the belief that every student has the right to be together with the appropriate adaptations, and all they needed were the skills, then my job is so much easier. Because unfortunately, we still have way too many people who are in the pull-out category. Pull them out for gifted. Pull them out for special education. Pull them out for speech, or as we heard from the assistant director, pull them out for hearing services. And then we're not learning together, and we're not benefiting from one another's skills. All right, so what does that look like for 2E students? Shouldn't look like this. Just that one kid, and they're going to just do whatever they want. Shouldn't look like this. We all feel good learning together, but there's no substance. Shouldn't look like this. It's technology. And it shouldn't be a free-for-all. Okay, so we're trying to avoid those things, but we're trying to also think about the fact that we've got a lot of people who say, that's not fair. And who are those people? Parents. Who else? The kids. Kids sometimes. I think where I hear it the most is teachers. Sometimes parents and sometimes kids, but most of the time, when I'm working with schools, it's the teachers. Well, I would like to do that for Claire, but it's not fair for everyone else. It's not about everybody else. It's about what Claire needs, and what Claire needs is going to be very different than what everybody else needs. So I think sometimes we have to really have a better understanding of what inclusion is and what it looks like. So I'm going to ask everybody who is wearing glasses to stand up. And if you're being on the live stream, stand up yourself if you're wearing glasses. Trust. All right, thank you. Those people wearing glasses, like me, here's the deal. We look smarter than everybody else here. I mean, it's a fact. And it's kind of embarrassing for them. So we're going to do something to acknowledge that. Would all of you wearing glasses please come to the front of the stage? Just come on up here. You're safe, I promise. Come on up. Just come on up here. I appreciate it. Just stand in line. Show us your lovely, beglassed faces. That's bespectacled. There's a word. Okay. Look at how lovely they look. Don't they look smart? They do look smart. Okay. So here's the thing, folks. Claire mentioned I'm a professor of special education, right? And I've got a really long vita. I'm super impressive and humble. I'm equally humble. Like, I am probably more humble than I am brilliant, and that's a lot. All right, so I'm going to do a little something for you all. And Claire, no extra charge. It's just because we're BFFs, okay? Just for you. I am right now going to diagnose all of you from here. Give me a sec. Yeah, I think I've got it. Validating my opinion. Yep. Every single person up here has what we in my field call a visual impairment. You're welcome. Thank you. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Because I now have a diagnosis and you all have a label, I'm going to take you all and I'm going to pull you out. And I'm going to, in my own little room, I'm going to give you all the same glasses. I was just laughed at. Why did you just laugh, Rebecca?
I said, don't give them mine. They'll hurt themselves.
But, Rebecca, you have the same label. So clearly what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing for you, no? You don't think that's a smart idea? Huh. Does anybody else agree with Rebecca? So you are all calling me dumb is what I'm hearing. This is not a very validating conference, Claire. All right. Okay, I need a little bit more data. I'm fine. I'm a researcher. I will take data. I'm going to ask you a question so that I can get a little bit more information about you. I'm going to ask you to listen to the direction before you go, okay? If you feel like you can take off your glasses for the rest of today and tomorrow, and you could handle it. Things are a little blurry, maybe you'll get a little bit of headache, but you could manage. Then you are going to go over to this side, okay? Don't go yet. Don't go yet. It's always the chair of the department who can't listen, right? It's like if there were principals in the room, it would have been the principal. All right. If you take off your glasses and you're like, I can see everything up front, but nothing in front of me, or vice versa, you're going to be in the middle. If you're going to take off your glasses and you're going to say, I now cannot move, so put your glasses back on, move over here without hurting anybody, and then take them off and say, without my glasses, I'm effectively blind. Okay? You have the directions. You may go. See where you go. Look at the movement. Oh, I am collecting more data for sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, and we're gonna get some behavior issues here, I can tell already. Choose one or the other groups. I'm gonna make you choose. There you go, there you go. All right. So we have our group over here, we have our group here, we have our group here. Yes, excellent. So what we have, my friends, is an inclusive class. We have an inclusive group because we have those students who, if they had to take off their glasses, could manage, right? But let's say your kid's in school. You broke your glasses. Your mom hasn't brought them to you yet, whatever. And you have to manage throughout the day. How are you all going to feel at the end of the day? I'm going to ask you to say what you said.
Tired.
Tired. What did you say?
Drained.
Drained. Others? Cranky. Ooh, I like it. Say it.
Cranky.
Cranky. Okay. And how much homework do you think you all are going to be doing at the end of today? This is not a change for you. I don't do homework anyway. We're fine. But what about the rest of you? Are you gonna do it? You're gonna just, I will do it anyway. I will suck it up and do it. I'm that kind of kid. I think for most of us, we would feel like the cognitive load that happened during the day today was so much that at the end of the day, you have headaches, you're tired, you're drained, you're wiped out, you're cranky, and you're probably feeling like I need a nap and I need some Tylenol, and I'm not feeling like the homework is. And unfortunately, what we do is we will say, we'll give you extra time to do more work, when what we need to do is reduce what you're doing because that cognitive load was a lot. All right, well, let's check out you guys. Oh, you right in the middle. You confuse me. I am befuddled by you. Because I'm the teacher who says, first of all, can you see far away or close? I can see close. You can see. Good. Can see close, but not far away. All right, so I've got some reading. I've given it to Lisa. I say, Lisa, could you please read this? And she reads it. It's beautiful. A little bit later in the class, I say, all right, Lisa, we've got something up there. Could you please read it to the class? And Lisa says, no. Lisa, read it. Oh my gosh, now social chatty butterfly. Okay, Lisa, I need you to go to the principal because you are driving me crazy. So I don't get this group. Sometimes you can do things, sometimes you can't do things, but that's kind of the hallmark of a disability. In many of our learning disabilities is that we can do something sometimes, and then tomorrow it's like, whoo, that didn't even happen. Right? So you guys are just confusing me. All right, and then your group. You take off the glasses and you're done, yeah? I had a gentleman who said, when I take off my glasses, you're just this big blue blur. And I thought big was mean. All right, so if we take off your glasses or they break during the day, what happens to you all? Can't get out of the building. She's stuck. She'll walk into walls. Okay. So you absolutely, you're like a bug. You're just going to walk into the glass door. Okay. All right. So what we just have is we have mild disabilities, we have moderate disabilities, and we have severe and profound disabilities, right? Can they also be gifted? Of course. Of course. And by the way, I know what to do with all of you. It's easy. We give you glasses at whatever prescription you need, and you're fine. You're fixed. What I don't get is Is anyone here wearing contacts or had LASIK? If so, could you please stand up? Yep. Look at these people. Cheaters. Exactly. So you all standing up, you have what we call invisible disabilities. Them I get. If I see a student who is deaf and needs a sign language interpreter, got it. Blind, needs Braille, wheelchair, needs a little time in the, I get that. But students where I can't see it, and sometimes you can do it and sometimes you can't. But I would like you, if this is 1, and this is 2, and that is 3. Actually, let's not do numbers, just point to the group you would have gone to. Point. Ooh, I got a severe. I got a medium, moderate, I got a severe, are you moderate or severe? Oh, she's way over here. Yeah, look at that. They have pretty significant disabilities. Now, they have found a way to cope. They have found a way to deal with it. But what happens if the contacts pop out? Then they have to come up. Or they're all of a sudden doing something, and I don't know, well, you've always been able to do this task. Why can't you do it now? Right? So sometimes the invisible disabilities, and twice exceptionality is frequently an invisible disability and ability. And as Claire has taught me many, many, many times, one masks the other. And so we're either really addressing the disability and not the giftedness at all, or we're addressing the giftedness, but the disability is going to keep causing a barrier, right? So that's why today is going to be so amazing, because we have to remember that even in this group just now, I don't know who's gifted, who's not. Let's just say we all are, and it's lovely. But I can tell you that some of us have some kind of disability, and we're finding ways to accommodate them. And some of us have done a better job than others. Some of us are still struggling with different things that are impacting our learning. So please give them a round of applause. Please give you guys a round of applause and let them sit down. Well done. Everyone now has their glasses, correct? Everybody, everybody is feeling back to the way they like to learn. So clearly now you are all gifted again. So let me just give you this task. Would somebody just answer this for me? Maggie, would you just answer it for me? You were answering earlier. Did I ask you to sing me a song, young lady? No, I did not. There are a lot of people in this room and no one is raising their hand. This is embarrassing. Christina, can you answer this? That is not my question. I asked if you could answer it. You guys are not helping me at all. Oh gosh. I hate when I have to help everybody, but let me do this for you. Fine, I'll read it to you. Wie sind Ihre Erfahrungen mit Kindern, die Sonderpädagogik brauchen? Okay, now will you answer? But I read it. Okay, let's do a think, pair, share. Okay, you have 10 seconds to think. Everybody think. Okay, talk to a neighbor. Pair up, come on. Talk to a neighbor. You with your technology. You guys with your Google Translates, huh? All right, what if I was one of those teachers who said, keep the technology out? All right, what have you got for us? What are your experiences with children who need special education? Now could you answer? But if you didn't have technology, what would you have needed? A dictionary, a translator, interpreter, or a teacher. Exactly. You need me to teach you German. So we do this, I do a similar kind of activity when I'm teaching about specially designed instruction. Because I hope everybody's getting sense of humor, right? I wasn't really being mad at Maggie. But I can give you extra time. Is it gonna help? I can give you, go here, come sit closer. I read it to you. I can read it to you louder. Like all of these things that are accommodations are not instruction. And we really need to make sure we can figure out where kids are so that we're providing them the instruction they need. So let's think about kids. Since we were just talking about students, we got to bring it back to some students. We're all going to have 5 students in our class. I wish we only had 5 students. This is just for the moment where we're going to focus on a couple students. All right, student 1 has dyslexia, loves computers, weirdly doesn't focus or follow rules, prefers to work independently. Student 2 has autism, poor social skills, loves animals, strong reader, prefers to work alone. Student 3 is blind, is an extrovert, loves music, prefers group work. Student 4 has autism, very disorganized, loves math and science, prefers to work alone. And student 5 has a learning disability and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is an extrovert, can't read, loves performing, prefers to work with groups. Your last name, whatever it begins with. Okay, so I'm Murawski, M. Go to where it's, I would look and say, let's say JKLMN, no. Okay, so I'm number 3. So for the rest of today, whenever I bring up the kids and activities, I'm going to focus on kid number 3. Does everybody see who you're going to focus on? Take a moment and identify who you're going to focus on, which number. Rebecca, you know who you're focusing on? All right. Where'd Lisa go? She was over there. She is. Lisa, you know who you're focusing on? You got it? Wendy, other Wendy, you know who you're focusing on? All right, everybody good? Okay, don't forget those students. So here's the task. Teacher says, read a passage and write a summary. Thinking about your child, how do you think your child is going to respond? Talk to a neighbor. Just turn to a neighbor and say, okay, I have this student, and this is how I think they're going to respond to that task. Go ahead. By a show of hands, please let me know if you think your student will probably be okay with this task. Yeah, a few of you, yes, a few of you, the student's going to be okay with the task. Now, by a show of hands, whose students will probably have a difficulty or not be okay with this task? Quite a few of you. Okay, so next question with your student. How do you think you could adapt the task so that your learner can be successful? Again, please turn to a neighbor. How could you adapt the task? All right, who's got an example for us? Who could give us one way to adapt the task and tell us which learner we're adapting for?
We have learner 1.
Okay, so for learner 1 who has dyslexia, loves computers, doesn't focus or follow rules, prefers to work independently, how might you adapt the task for that learner?
So we would either go the tech route, we would use something like an Orcam Learn, Smart Reader, and then a voice typing option for them to help craft and maybe some scaffolding.
So what we've heard is we've got use a variety of technological options and some additional scaffolding. Okay, somebody else who didn't have number 1. Okay, in the back. Which learner? Okay, so learner number 2, autism, poor social skills, loves animals, strong reader, prefers to work alone. What have you got? So perhaps that learner can write, but they get to write on a topic that would interest them, which might be animals. Okay, good. One more. Yes, who have you got? Learner number 3 is blind, extrovert, loves music, prefers groups. What are you going to do for that child? We're going to make sure that we have Braille options, right? Okay, excellent. All right, let's continue then. Don't forget your kids, although I'll keep bringing them up. So if we're talking about how we're going to personalize this a little bit more, and you were giving some examples with universal design for learning, differentiation, and specially designed instruction. I love this visual. Again, credit internet. It had no name on it, but I love it. The idea behind universal design for learning is that we're trying to provide something proactive that offers access to everyone. So the idea that you could see, oh, there might be a moose in the woods, and you could crash. Now, I have to say, I've been in Sweden recently and Maine this past week. I have yet to see a moose. I have been promised moose. There are moose on everything. Everyone talks about the moose. I don't think they exist. I've seen a bull and some deer. I think people are making up the whole moose thing to get us excited. But, all right. And if I saw that sign, I might understand what it is. That would be very proactive, more universally accessible to everybody. That's more universal design. In the middle, you'll notice that it has 4 different languages. So presumably, the sign makers knew that in this community, we have primarily 4 different languages that are spoken. So they went ahead and translated it, and we've got it for that. Now, if you don't speak those 4 languages and you're driving through, good luck to you. But that's, what's that? And the text, okay, so and if you have, yeah, and if you're driving pretty quickly, you're not going to be able to read it. Okay, but if I live in that area, if I speak those languages, theoretically, it was done for me, and it was responsive to my language needs, theoretically. But what if I'm a kid who doesn't even know what a sign is? I've never learned, I just came from someplace that never has signs, and I don't know what signs are. Then I have to be taught how to read a sign, or neither of them make sense. So specially designed instruction is where we're filling in some gaps, where we're saying this student needs this. And so we teach them how to read signs, and now, hopefully, we're able to go over and use the moose one. Again, moose don't exist. All right, so universal design came out of architecture. What are some things that we see in architecture that make accessibility easier for us? Ramps, for sure. Ramps, by the way, are only available to people in wheelchairs. Elevators. Ramps, of course, are available to all of us, right? Ramps, elevators, what else? Rails. Braille, having it on the available to everyone if you want to use it, yes. Right? I love the automatic doors. I will be carrying things at Target, and even if I'm not carrying anything, I will walk like 4 regular doors over to walk through the automatic doors. Just makes me feel better. All right, so these things are not because we have or don't have disabilities. It's just saying, hey, it makes more sense. If you have like counters down a little bit, everyone can still use them, including someone who might be less height-inspired, like myself. Okay, so we have that. That's what we started with. I love this Michael Giangreco cartoon. I just think it's brilliant. So the little boy says, could you please shovel the ramp? And the custodian says, all of these other kids are waiting to use the stairs. When I get through shoveling them off, then I will clear the ramp for you. To which he responds, quite brilliantly, but if you shovel the ramp, we can all get in. Did the custodian hate kids who are in wheelchairs? Does he value the other kids more? Why do you think he didn't shovel the ramp? He thought it was for one. What else? Huh? Quantity. Yeah. Say that again. Somebody said it. Wendy, he didn't even think about it. There are so many things we do because of tradition, because it's the way we've always done things. I think he didn't think about it. You know, he sees all these kids. He's just trying to go. If he had sat back for a second, he would have been able to think, oh, if I do this, they all have access. But I see that in teaching all the time. I'm going to first do it like this for everyone, and then I'm going to do something special for you. Whereas that special thing would have been amazing for everyone. But we don't think about it. We're still very, very stuck in our tradition. So in universal design, we're trying to open it up. Now, many of you have probably seen this. It's a very, very ubiquitous one. But for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. At your table, first identify the problem, and then identify a solution. 1 minute, go. All right, that was a minute. So, anyone, what's the problem? What problem did you identify? Yes, please. The measurement tool. What's wrong with it? Everything. Yeah, by definition, that tool means that some of those kids will fail, regardless, right? And I think we really need to think about our tools, our assessment techniques. You know, again, we got the whole Vito, Wendy, Humble, all that wonderful stuff. If I go to China and you give me an intelligence test, I will fail. I will be a 0. Right? And I'd like to believe that that's not true, and it's the assessment tool. So in this case, we've got a really bad assessment tool. So solve it for me. What are some ways that you would solve this? What did your table come up with? Yes? All right, so just to recap so everybody can hear, she said, first of all, we need our objective. What are we trying to assess? Because with the way it's asked right now, we're not really sure. Just saying climb the tree. Are you assessing their strength? Are you assessing their climbing ability? Are you assessing their ability to follow directions? What is it? Is it just to get to the top of the tree? Or is it the actual climbing of it? Again, then we'd have an assessment issue, right? So what are we going to do about it? We're going to first clarify the objective. What else? Let's just say this guy's kind of stuck on it. How are we going to let everyone have a chance at success? What would you do? Yeah.
Over-engineer some sort of bionic way for the fish to climb the tree. A lot of technology.
Wow. This is a 2E conference for sure. First time I've ever heard over-engineer a bionic way for the fish to climb the tree. I've heard things like the elephant can pick up the tank and put it on his head, but I've never heard a bionic response, and I love that. Thank you. I don't know, that's just, yeah, well, I'm all about collaboration, but apparently, we're not supposed to do that. All right, what's another one? Yes. But if you've got a bionic response, that's already been taken. I just want to make sure. Yes. There you go. All right, we can knock over the tree because brute force is always the answer. Yes. Just kidding. Go ahead. Good. So collaborate, and they're saying, state standards won't let us, or state testing won't let us do that. But yeah, isn't that how most of us attack a lot of our projects and goals? We do collaborate, and we always say it's supposed to be about strengths-based. Let's work to our strengths. All right, love this quote, which we're going to attribute to Albert Einstein because I think whenever we're not entirely sure, we're pretty sure he said it. Everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. I do love that quote because to me that kind of epitomizes twice exceptionality. We have way too many kids thinking they're stupid because we're telling them the way they should learn. We're assessing them with tools that make no sense. We, in education, are putting up the barriers instead of taking them down. And universal design for learning is really supposed to be about being way more proactive in offering different choice and definitely about student voice. And I think just now that was, again, beautiful example of voice. I never in a million years would have given you the choice of engineering a bionic something or other for the fish. Like, as a teacher, I might have said, do you like the elephant breaking it down? Do you like them working together? I would have given you choices. But when we have twice exceptional learners, they have choices that I can't even think of as a teacher. So we need to then say, what else? You guys tell me how you want to show me that you've learned it. You tell me how you want to learn it because I'm not going to come up with all that stuff, right? And that's really important. Okay, so we have a whole lot of neuroscience telling us about how the brain works. That's how we know a lot about twice exceptionality as well. In UDL, they're really looking at how we as teachers represent the materials to kids. We need to do it in a variety of different ways. We talk about how we engage the learners in things that they're interested in and motivate them to learn. That's engagement. And then how they show us that they've learned it, and that's action and expression. And the more different options that we can come up with or have the kids come up with, the more we're going to find something that connects with them. And that is not going to be the teacher standing at the blackboard, whiteboard, smartboard, and just lecturing and then giving regurgitation notes and then giving a test to everybody. And that's not just if you're 2E, that's every kid. So we need to mix it up. All right, so which of these do you like? Which one connects with you with the whole idea of being proactive, all getting to a particular place, but having some choice and voice? So just look at this for a minute. We have a GPS, we have an ice cream truck, we have stairs, we have arrows, and we have a salad bar. If you like GPS, please stand. You're going to stand for one of them. So please stand if you're a GPS person. I would be standing with you. I like the GPS. Okay, we got a few more GPSers. Okay, good, thank you. Go ahead and have a seat. If you're an ice cream truck person, stand. Ice cream truck, really? You don't want the choices of the ice cream? Oh, you're going to check multiple ones. I'm kind of wanting you to pick one, but right now, pick whatever you want because I should not limit you, right? You want ice cream and GPS, you take ice cream. Okay, good. If you really like the stairs as your analogy for UDL, got a few stair people. Great, good. If you're kind of digging on the arrows, stand for the arrows. Lots of arrow people. Good. And if the salad bar is for you, have a stand. There you go. Good. So whatever, did everybody have a chance to stand? If you want to tell me what you think of, you can as well. What connects with you for UDL? I'm a big fan of the salad bar because I do feel like having choice and saying, okay, you have to have veggies. That's you pick at least 2 veggies, and if you want to have 1 protein or whatever, giving kids some guidelines as teachers, but then really giving them more options to choose from. Still trying to let my mom understand why deconstructing salad is a really good idea and not putting the dressing on it in advance. But we all have to work with what we have. Okay, so what would research support in UDL? Well, giving kids different language options and ways to communicate, recognizing that we all need brain breaks and that that's really important, having different ways to take notes and remember content, having different ways to address cultural diversity, different ways to participate actively, recognizing that some need structure and we want to go over what that looks like in a classroom so they know what is coming up, using technology, of course, and recognizing that time is different for many of us. So those are some things that we want to think of as teachers. In addition, we also want to make sure we recognize flexible grouping as really being important, and then those 2 things that I mentioned, choice and voice. All right, so let's think for a minute back to those kids. You know which student you had. How do you think now you could universally design that task? Read a passage and write a summary that would actually be universally designed for all 5 learners. 1 minute to discuss at your table, and if you're by yourself, please join a table. Okay, 1 minute just to discuss what might you have to do to universally design that. All right, let me just get one group to share a little bit. What did you get? Who's got a particular way that we could universally design this? Yes, what have you got? Mm-hmm. Right. So just to repeat what she said, a lot of words were choice. So choice in how they read, how it gets to them. Is it audio? Are they reading themselves? Are we reading to them? Are they reading with a pair? Choice in the content that they're reading. So it could be about different things. We would also think about the choice in, we have Braille as well as hearing. So a lot of different ways there. And then maybe changing the word write to compose, because it depends on what we're trying to assess, as she said. So we need to think about how they're going to share it with us. And again, more choice in how they're sharing it with us, but we need to have maybe a rubric that lets us know what the assessment is, so we know what we're going for. Okay, so there is a little bit of a difference between UDL and differentiation. The key things that I would want to emphasize are that UDL is very proactive. The more we can think about breaking down barriers and having a recognition that we have a ton of variability, as opposed to being responsive to one child's needs and doing it after the fact. I know that you perseverate on turtles, so I am now going to give you something that relates to turtles, as opposed to just build in a couple word problems that have a turtle in it, right? It's not going to hurt anybody else. So we really, the more we can do UDL for everyone, the less differentiation after the fact we need to do for our other students. So certainly with differentiation, we're looking at accommodations, modifications, we're thinking about social emotional and specially designed instruction. We need to remember that sometimes we won't know what it is, and we're going to try something, and then we're going to have to try it again, and then we're going to have to try it again until we can finally get what works. My sound is not on, sir. Bob? It's even better with sound. Yeah, you need sound, but still you're getting the visual. There you go. Woo! You got to try it, but I definitely need some sound. Oh, I got sound in something. All right, so remember how we differentiated the lesson, because you did that before. You said how you would adapt it for that particular student. So what would your student need to be taught in order to do this task? Yeah, maybe what is a summary? Maybe some front-loading of vocabulary. Maybe knowing how to do a task analysis. Maybe knowing how to read. Maybe knowing how that there are audiobooks available, right? We have to teach certain things to bring up the gaps, but we don't want to just say, well, you certainly can't access this if you cannot read. All right. So still we're hoping that we're going to have some sound here. So collaborating, I want to wrap up by talking about collaborating. It does not matter if you are a rock star educator and your partner's a rock star educator. Together, you can be better. Even superheroes need some help. So hopefully we will hear from Grace. Does not sound like we are hearing from Grace. Well, Grace is awesome and she's super cute. Moving on. All right, so we're talking about all these different people collaborating together. We want to remember that we are all trying to be successful, and we are human and we make mistakes. So again, better with sound, but you can still get the point. Oh, but they meant well. Bob, is there any chance we're going to have sound?
I'm trying.
Okay. Trying is good, sir. There we go. Look at this. Nice. Thank you. Oh, even better with sound. All right. So the co-teaching marriage, remember, we're bringing these two people together. We're trying really hard so that they can work together. What would the research support? We got to look at both of us as bringing in valuable skills. So there's parity. We're bringing in those diverse skills. We're going to co-plan. We're going to co-instruct, we're going to co-assess, and really learn from one another. We need administrative support if we're going to be able to do that. We need to remember that we start off well. there could be some roadblocks. I just want to know what wife was like, yes, please, pick me up and run. All right, so bringing it all together, we still have these kids, and we're really trying to pull all of this together, so we want to remember that as educators, sometimes we're going to see something that's happening, and we're thinking, that's not great, and we need to change it. So I'm going to give you what a teacher might say to your kid. Remember your kid. Think about how might you reframe it for them? How might you think of a way to universally design it, to differentiate it, or give specially designed instruction? So let's just say, those of you who have number 1, let's just say they say to your kid, stop playing on the computer and complete your worksheet. Or quit drawing cows and work with your team on the project. Stop listening to music on your earbuds, you write this 5-paragraph essay. Stop perseverating on those weird science doodles. Focus. Or if you can't stop talking and acting out, I'm going to be moving your seat. We're sending you out. So think about these twice exceptional learners that you have been working with, and how if we're doing the right things for them, that they can and will and should be exceptional. So remember, we're trying to develop an inclusive education through personalization. We have a philosophy of universal design. We're planning with differentiation and SDI, and our personalities are we are collaborating. This quote, as I wrap this up, is from one of my favorite people. This is Kent Gerlach, who wrote, "Our task is to provide an education for the kinds of kids we have, not the kinds of kids we used to have or want to have, or the kids that exist in our dreams."
Collaboration is important because you can get things done, and it is fun to work with other people. Can I go now?
And I'm pretty sure that's how I'm feeling right now, too. Claire, can I go now? You all, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful conference.